Hello friends, I am Dr. Pranav Kumar Chakraborty on behalf of the channel naming BNCMS Study Festivity. It is carried from Bhadreshwar district, Hooghly. Now I am going to have some text to be shared with you in this deliberation. Please go through the material properly. If you like it, give the I like it, and if you dislike it, also put your sign disliking, and if it serves your purpose, then share it. And before that, you please subscribe this channel and give a touch in the bell icon and be with us for better and better presentation, and to make us much more motivated with regards to the service that we are interested to give to my all listeners and the viewers. Thank you very much. Stay tuned with our deliberations. Thank you. Good morning, friends. Today again I am live with the poem Daffodils. This is the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth. This is the fourth class on this particular poem. In the inaugural day, in the first class, I discussed the concept of daffodils and cited the events that made the creation of this poem. How was this poem came into the earth? In the second class, I took up the total poem at a glance. The basic points were discussed keenly, and in the third class, I was devoted for analysis and understanding of the poem between the lines. Today I am going to take up the very, very important part, that is the critical appreciation which will result in the overall understanding of the poem, the Daffodils. So far as prelude is concerned and introduction, those are the late tuners and who were the no tuners of the other three classes. For them I am letting you know. Daffodil, the term daffodil is the name of a flower. To an Indian who have not gone through English literature, have not gone through the poem Daffodils, I think they are not quite aware. They are not aware of daffodil flower. Daffodil flower, there is no flower in India which is usually termed as daffodil, but we have a variety of daffodil, that is lily, Padma. Basically it is it grows in the ponds, white color and reddish color, highly demanded at the time of Durga Puja and like these pujas. So it is that type of flower. It comes out of a bulb. What is a bulb? A bulb is the stem that stays underground. As you have seen the onion the onion comes out of the bulb. Okay? So it is that type of thing. And that Padma, that lily is known as daffodils in some different colors in the different areas surrounding England, Scotland, Ireland, Mediterranean areas, and in the northern part of Africa. So you will get this type of flower. The flower, in order to grow, requires wet land, okay, wet, damp area, and they basically grow on the part of the lakes, on the ponds of the ponds, or beside the on the shore of beside the river or any stream. that develops any wet and damp condition. So therefore its color is white and red within, or it is yellow or red or orange color within. It is not so magnificent in looking, but the presentation of the poet has made the daffodil as one of the highly talked flower in this world of flower. Okay, so this daffodil is the original name of the daffodil is asphodel, 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 asphodel in English. And in Latin, it is named as Narcissus. The term Narcissus, I think you might have gone through, might have come across this word Narcissus. Narcissus is that flower, that daffodil, and the Narcissus was named after the name of the son of river god in Greek mythology. He was Narcissus. So this is the daffodil. The daffodil, the bulb, the flower, and the leaves of daffodil, all these are highly demanded for the purpose of producing medicine, and this medicine is used for curing asthma, whooping cough, cold, and like this. So that is the more or less about daffodils. The other things will be discussed with the process. So this is an introduction of daffodils. Now the poem has been discussed in detail. Now I am going to take up the critical parts, different critical parts of the poem. Number one, these parts have been, I have written these parts they are in 10 numbers. The first one is, it is a poem which is treated as a romantic poem. But before coming to this romanticism, I am going back to the background of this composition. The background of the compositions, everybody should be aware of what is the basic background of romanticism which has been considered in this poem. The background is that you go back the era before 1750. Before 1750, in the first half of the 18th century, the production activities required to meet the human demands, individual demands, human demands, were done by the production processes, absolutely carried by the human labor. Absolutely carried by the human labor. Though that time the quantum demanded was very high because of population, but the supply was very low, and it was the basic problem all over the globe, and especially it was the problem in the developed countries, European countries. And in between, during the decade, in the 6th decade of the 18th century, there was massive production of agricultural commodity. Huge, a revolutionary production in agricultural commodity. And now what would these commodities would go? So the scientists, the wise men, started thinking a remedy out of that. They started creating something, inventing something, and the most important creation came to us is steam engine and locomotives and the factory system. This resulted the mass production. The mass production with the help of machine. The invention of different machines developed a factory system. What is factory system? Factory system is the production carried on in a particular area, space, or a particular long space rather, with the help of a good number of machines. What happened to that? Utilization of machine helped in mass production, and who will carry on this production? This production would have been carried on this production would have been carried on by the public, by the people. Where from would the people come? Say an industry in the dense area, dense forest area of Jharkhand, a factory is erected, a factory is constructed, and the population is not so much high over there. So who will work? Who will produce? The people from the urban area, from the people of the different areas will assembled over there. They would attend the factory, they would carry on the production activities, and as a result there will be a huge supply of person who go on residing over there, and it results in urbanization. So urbanization is the process. Urbanization is the process of gathering. Is the process of gathering huge person in a comparatively low area, small area, and this urbanization resulted in erection of buildings, the marketplace, and many other. So the free lands, availability of free land started going to be reduced, and there was noise. Huge number of persons creating doldrum over there, the sound of factory activities also, and it emitted smoke, it started emitting smoke, and it developed the air as a mist one. Nature gradually started vanishing. So people could not see the free sky, the open sky, blue sky. The air was not so fresh. So a type of disease developed among the inhabitants over there, and that disease is known as claustrophobia, CLUSTROPHOBIA. What type of disease it is? It is the disease that develops fear in mind. I may not live, I am not getting the fresh air, so there is no meaning of life. So this type of a confinement of the people develop this type of phobia. Now what is the solution? People cannot leave their residence, they have to stay over there, but they need some solace. They need some solace from that. And they used to come out of their house, they come out of the township and they started sparing some time in the countryside. Countryside means village side, where the nature is clean, when the air is fresh, when you can see the sky, so you will breathe properly. I think those who have gone through the poem, to one who has been city penned, city pen means confined, city means the man, an experience of a man who has been in city for a good number of time, who is confined in the city for a long period. Now he has come to the countryside to enjoy the beauties of nature, to come in close contact to the nature. And that it was the creation of John Keats. I think a good number of viewers might have gone through this poem. So that was the happening of our poet William Wordsworth. It was the day 15th of April 1802. The poet went in a place, in that type of place. What is the place? It is, I am talking of the case of England. It is in England. It is the Lake City of England. Sorry, Lake District of England. That Lake District of England is full with a number of lakes, very good number of lakes. And poet came to that place. He came to a particular place that is known as Gobrow Park. Gobrow Park. Beside the park there was a lake. There was a lake. It was a bay. Bay, basically, you know, the bay is a small stream of water coming out of the main flow of water, that is bay, or you may consider it as a lake. Okay. So the poet was along with his sister Dorothy. So what's up sibling? Sibling? I think you know the brothers and sister of the same parents, or either same mother or same father or same parents. Okay, the sibling. Though the what's up sibling came over there, got the beautiful scenery. The scenery, the beautiful scenery. What is the scenery? The scenery is concerned with the scenery concerned with daffodils. It is not the daffodils only. It was the daffodil, it was the lake, and it was the waves of the lake water flickering, shivering in the under the sun rays. Okay, so it was a beautiful scenario the poet experienced, and the poet went on staying over there for a good quantum of time, and he started gazing and gazing and gazing, but after that he had to come back, and he came back home. After a few years, after 2 years, when he was in his house in a very, very sad mood, in a very pensive state, he was lying on the couch, on his couch, that's bed. He was again he was suffering from that claustrophobia, and whenever he had this type of problem, he used to go on discussing with his sister Dorothy Wordsworth. He started talking to Dorothy, and Dorothy had the practice of writing diaries. She used to accompany her brother in all the wandering, in all the tour, on all the visits, and everything is written. She used to write in her diary, and she took out the diary. She pointed out all the things. She pointed out all the things to his brother, and the brother, that is William Wordsworth, started the thinking on that particular tour. The beautiful picture came in his inner eye, okay, in his mind. He sprang in joy, and his heart was started dancing. His mind started dancing with the dancing daffodils. Then he took out his pages and started composing this poem, The Daffodils. And it is in the year in 1804. The poem was published in the year in 1807 in 2 volumes. Okay, and after some modification, it was finally published in the year in 1815. And this poem has made this flower famous all over the globe. And to anyone, those who are concerned with English literature, they will see that in English literature, daffodil is the basic anthem. The basic anthem, daffodil is the basic anthem in English poetry. Clear? So this is the background. Clear? I think the things are clear to you. So this was the background, and this was daffodil. Now come to the basic aspects. The basic aspects. You see, if you go into the depth, you will see that the poem is in contact to nature. Okay, It is contact with nature. It is, the poem was developed by the imaginative skill of the poet as to the nature. He was more subjective because all this concerned with mental aspects, unlike objective. Objective is the object. Whenever you are writing something objectively on a real life event, that is objective concept. And when you are producing something out of your imagination, that is typically known as subjective, and the subjective aspect is regarded as romantic. This subjective aspect, which is based on nature and man, it is the collaboration, it is the combination of man and nature. It is the combination of man and nature as imagined by the writer. So, a specific branch of English poetry emanated, and that is Romanticism or Romantic poetry. Before that, there were two other classes, and that class was classical poetry. I think Homer and William Wordsworth, you know the name of all them, and later on some deviation from classical, that is neoclassical. That part I am going to take up after this class in another presentation. So the Romantic poetry emanated with the hands of, by the production of by the creation of William Wordsworth. Now it is known as Romantic poet. What is romantic? Whenever we are talking of romantic, you will get the term romance. Romance is very loosely used by the common man. When someone is in love affair, with the romance, देखो वो romance कर रहा है. Oh, that is not romance. Romance may be regarded as the affinity. Romance is basically known as affinity. Affinity means closeness, coming together. Clear? And the romantic, as is one which is visionary. You are not doing anything. You are thinking. You are imaginating. You must be imaginative. Okay. There must be some sentiment and emotion. So this is the basic property of romantic aspect, and this is Romanticism. Romanticism is a state. Romanticism is a state. Is a class which is evolved out of the visionary aspect, visionary quality of the writer, the visionary quality of the presenter. It is the imaginative aspect, it is the sentimental and emotional aspect, and this happens when basically man comes with the help of in contact with the nature. So that is a romantic poet. So romanticism is a trend. Romanticism is a trend of writing poetry. Romanticism is a trend of writing poetry. Friends, I think you are quite aware of the term poetry. What is poetry? Poetry should be clear for the students. I think it is highly needed. We often come across the terms like poetry, poem, and verse. In my time, I was said that all are the same thing. Poetry, poem, and verse is all are the same thing. I think this type of connotation might have been also be prevailing in many in the present day. But friends, there are differences among these words. What is a poetry? In poem, poetry, verse, whatever it may be, there must be some miracle presentation. Miracle presentations means the presentation in rhymes. Metrical presentation refers to presentation in Bengali, it is known as Chondo. It is known as Chondo. So, metrical presentation is the presentation in rhymic form, in rhythmic form, that is metrical presentation. And poetry is the use of words and language for metrical explanation or metrical presentation of any thought, any emotion, any feel. Sorry, not it will be romantic poetry, but poetry is the use of some words and language for metrical presentation. Okay, and the poem is the material content that is coming out of the use. Understood? Are you getting me? Poetry, metrical poetry is the use of evoking thoughts. It is the use of evoking thoughts for a metrical presentation. So it is a process. It is a process of evoking thoughts. The thoughts, you cannot write anything until and unless the thoughts are evoked. So evocation of thoughts. The thoughts are coming out. Okay, the thoughts are coming out for a lyrical presentation. So it is the process of evoking thoughts for any metrical presentation, that is poetry. And poem is the product of that process. So what you have got as a result of your use of words and language for making any metrical presentation is the poem. And the verse poem is in Bengali, it is known as the kabbo. Okay, kobita. It is the kabbo, it is kobita, and the verse is the line, the pankti line, one or two lines of that poem. Now you consider, they say this is our school building. This is our school building. Each and every room regarded as the verse. Okay, is regarded as the verse. The total school is regarded as the poem. And the process of this creation of this school is poetry. I think it is clear to you. So it's a plain simple example I am giving. So poetry is the process of using words and languages. Process of using words and languages for evoking thoughts for any metrical presentation. And the results of that process is poem, and a part of that poem is known as verse. Clear? So that is another part, another aspects. Now before this I like to discuss this part. Lyrical, it is a lyrical poetry. Lyrical, what is lyrical? The word lyrical comes from lyre. Lyre, those who are the students of literature, they know lyre in some different aspect. But those the persons of musical arena, they know lyre. Lyre is a musical instrument. Harp, H-A-R-P. Harp is the lyre. So lyre is the musical instrument used for musical composition. That's lyre. But to the students of literature, lyre is a composition meant for singing. Okay. Now, what you are singing, it is a lyre. Okay. The lyre is a composition meant for singing. Clear? And a particular composition for singing is known as ballad. A particular composition for a composition meant for a particular singing is known as ballad. Now it's a lyrical poetry. Why? The lyrical poetry has some features. It is an expression to a single feeling of gay and emotion. Just you tell it. It is an expression of a single feeling. It is not a multiple expression of multiple feeling. Single feeling means the poet went to the countryside, saw the daffodils in the midst of a good number of things. I am coming to this later on in the number. What are the things I am stating right now? He discovered daffodils not singly. If you see any daffodils just going over here in 10 or 20 or it will not attract your mind. The daffodils were, now just I am giving the scenario what he noticed. As per his discussion, he was wandering alone in the valleys and hills. He was wandering alone. Wandering means roaming aimlessly to and fro. क्या कर रहे हो? अरे कहाँ जा रहे हो? अरे यही तो थोड़ा सा इधर जा रहा है. क्या काम? अरे कोई काम नहीं है भाई, ऐसे ही घूम रहा है. ऐसा ही घूम रहा है. That ऐसा ही घूम रहा है is nothing but wandering. It is a movement to and fro without any reason. Okay, that is roaming, that is wandering. The poet, although his sister was with him, he is stating that wandering alone. Her sister must have accompanied her, but in his mind he was single, right? When whoever be with you, but you are the man, you are always single. But whenever you are coming out from the highly painted city life to enjoy the nature, beauties of nature in the countryside, you are always alone. And now he was wandering as a cloud. He compared himself as the cloud. As the clouds wander, clouds wander aimlessly. When it goes on, it goes here and there by the flowing of bridge. Okay, it is bridge that makes the cloud to go here and there. That is to wander, and the poet was wandering in that same way. Suddenly, he noticed an aimless stretch, aimless line. There is no starting end, there is no finishing end. It is an aimless line. It is a huge, unending lines, unending stretch of daffodils. They were not in one, they were not in two, they were not in 10, they were not in 1,000, they are not in 10,000. They were in millions. They were in millions. The poet considered that, compared that with the Milky Way. Milky Way, everybody knows that Milky Way is a long stretch of billions of stars at a distance, twinkling, okay, basically white in color, twinkling. And so he compared the daffodils with, so it was a swarm of daffodils. These daffodils, he has stated that there is a host of golden daffodils. The host of golden daffodils. Host means high in magnitude. But here the term host has been used for some other purpose. I am coming to that part also a bit later on. So that was the scene, and he saw the daffodil. And beside the daffodils, what was there? There was a lake, and the lake water. There's waves were created with the help of bridge. So bridge developed two things: the development of water on which the sun ray was fallen, and it was sparkling. And the beautiful wave. These beautiful waves made this flower to move here and there. Okay, flickering. He flickering, and someone is putting down and again standing up. So that is tossing as the coins are tossed. It is thrown over and it is coming down. So it is tossing. So it was flickering. It was tossing. It was dancing. Okay, so that was the scene. So the totality of the scene was so amazing to a person who have long suffered from the doldrum, who had long been suffering in the doldrum of the city life, was a beautiful solace in his heart, and that affected him. It is not the daffodil alone that affected him. It was the totality of the environment, it is totality of the nature that gave him the solace of his disease. Okay, so that is daffodils. Now, these things, so it is a single feeling, it is a single event with a culmination of good number of sceneries. It is a single event and it is the single feeling of the man, and the man is highly enjoyed. The man, he is emotional, he is sentimental, and he got huge joy. He had a feeling of great joy, and that is lyric poetry. Okay, it is this poem, lyrical poetry, lyric